I'm Jillian Blevins, playwright of POSTPARTUM, and you're listening to Gather by the Ghostlight.
All right, welcome back to Gather by the Ghostlight, original stories for radio theater. I'm Jonathan Cook, your host, producer, and sometimes voice actor on this thing.
And I'm Devin McSherry, imposter, or that could be the syndrome.
And we're running full throttle, continuing into season 5. We have several great audio plays lined up, and we're hoping to release at least one new audio play each week this month. You think we could do that?
Get it done.
Yeah, get it done. Boom.
So, to start off, you will be hearing a play from Massachusetts-based playwright Jillian Blevins.
Yes, Jillian. She's an actress. She's a playwright. She's had works produced all over the country. And currently her full-length play, Romeo and Her Sister, is premiering in New Hampshire with the New Hampshire Theatre Project.
Yes, and you will be hearing her play, Postpartum.
You are about to meet a woman who's currently sitting on the rooftop of an urban row house. More importantly, she's a mother with a newborn baby. It's autumn. It's around 9 p.m. and there's a weird red moon on the rise. A few feet away from her sits a baby monitor so that she can check in on her child. Or perhaps it's the baby that's checking in on her.
Before we begin, we'd like to give a warning that this episode contains suicide and suicidal thoughts.
Now, gather around the Ghostlight, sit back and enjoy. This is Postpartum, written by Jillian Blevins.
Be sure to stick around after the play to hear an interview with the author.
Weird red moon. Hello? I'm here, okay? I didn't go anywhere. I'm on the roof. I'm here. Okay.
Hey, there you are.
You thought I went somewhere?
No,
I have the baby monitor.
I know.
I can hear everything.
It's good. I figured you might be up here. Crazy moon, right? Chilly, though. You're not cold? You want my jacket?
I'm fine.
Sorry, I'm so late.
It's fine.
These big clients came in at 5, and then Cam wanted to take them out for drinks.
Sounds fun.
It was work.
It's fine.
How was your day? You hungry?
I ate.
Did you?
Yes.
Are you... You want to take a shower?
No.
Hey, I got a great idea. How about a bath? Candles, glass of wine, and, what do you call it, a bath bomb?
No. The bathroom shares a wall with the nursery. If you run the tub, it'll wake up the...
So? I'll put her back to sleep.
No.
I don't get to see her all day. Let me handle
No. Bath.
Okay. All right. Look, I'm going to talk to Cam about cutting back on my hours, okay? I want to be here. I don't want to miss... I'm going to cut back.
She doesn't want that.
What?
We need the money.
We'll figure it out. I miss you. And the baby.
I miss you.
This is a magical time. We're a family now.
It's my job.
Our job.
You don't understand.
She's our baby. Let me help.
Stop.
Stop what? Being a dad? Talking? Trying to touch you? What?
It's already too late for me. She only needs one of us.
What are you talking about? Do you want to leave me?
No. I love you.
Then why don't you want me around?
It's complicated.
Have a little faith in me. I can do this. I can be a dad.
No.
Do you think I'm gonna hurt her?
No.
Or screw her up somehow?
No.
Then what? Talk to me.
It's fine. I'm fine. I just need a good night's sleep. She didn't nap today. So she'll probably sleep for a while after the first wake up, which should be, any minute now.
Any chance you'll let me take a feeding, right?
Mm-mm.
All right, right. Breast is best. I got you. Okay, got it.
I have to keep up my supply.
I know. Boy, that moon is really something else, huh? Cam told me that Michelle's having a girls' night tomorrow at some tapas place. She's disappointed that you're not coming. Why'd you tell her no?
I can't go out.
Sure you can. I'm here.
It's not that simple.
It would be good for you and for me. I have to learn the ropes sometime.
I have to stay home with the baby.
It's been a month.
Just a month.
Go out with Michelle. Get tapas. You're miserable, okay? I see it. I feel it. You're drowning, and I'm trying to help you, and you won't let me. I don't know what to do here. I'm not a caveman. I don't expect you to do this alone. Why are you pushing me away? Why won't you take a break or let me do anything?
Something's wrong.
I know.
With the baby.
What do you mean? Is she sick?
She doesn't want me to sleep.
Honey.
Or touch you, or leave the house, and if I do something she doesn't want, something bad will happen.
They told us the first 3 months were going to be the hardest. 4th trimester, remember?
She's eating me alive.
Well, we can switch the formula then.
No, not like that. She wants me to be hers. Just hers.
I don't understand.
She's so hungry. Always hungry.
For
me. All of me.
Well, let me help you, please.
It's too late for me. She has me already. I can't stop her. Consuming me.
Sweetheart.
I have to.
No, you don't.
She'll hurt you.
She's a baby.
She's more than that. There's something inside her. Something bad. Something that wants those eyes.
Yeah, hazel eyes. Beautiful, like yours.
No, not hazel. Gold. Nothing human has those eyes.
How do you know that she's bad? Besides the eyes.
She came from me. I just know. Don't go, please.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Wait, please stop.
You'll
No.
see.
No! Oh, God, no. Please don't hurt him. Please. I'll do whatever you want. I'll never leave you, never. You can have me. All of me. Just don't hurt him.
Hey there. Hi, baby.
Please.
Yeah.
No.
Daddy's here. Yeah, Daddy's got you. Shh.
Please.
There we go. Shh. Are you hungry? Yeah. Should we get you a baba? Yeah. Daddy'll be right back with the bottom. And then we'll be all set. Rock-a-bye, baby.
Okay. I'm sorry. Don't hurt him. I'm yours. I'm all yours.
Jump off the roof.
What? Jump off the roof.
When the bow breaks, cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. Night, princess.
Hello? Oh no, where'd she go? Hello? Come back. I'm here. Don't hurt him.
Well, did you hear me down there?
Yes.
Didn't even finish her bottle before she fell right asleep in my arms. I can do this. I can help. Do you see? I'm sorry about the door. I just wanted to show you.
The baby minotaur.
Huh?
The monitor. It said... You didn't hear?
Listen, the doctors told us about this, warned us.
That the baby might...
Postpartum stuff.
Postpartum.
Yeah, feeling depressed, isolated. You're wrung out. Sleep deprived. It's normal.
Normal.
But, we can't ignore it. We have to take care of you. Let me take care of you.
But the baby...
Our daughter is beautiful and perfect, and she loves you. And she'll love me too. You just have to let me bond with her. Give me a chance. There's room for all of us.
But she needs... those eyes.
We'll get you to the doctor in the morning. And maybe you'll do the girls' night with Michelle. Or you can just take a bath and go to bed early. Whatever you need. But you're going to do something for you. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just lay your head back. Relax.
That feels really nice.
Yeah, good.
I'm sorry.
No, honey.
No, I'm sorry that it's like this. None of it is your fault. None of it. I know there's something wrong with me. I don't sleep. I lie in the dark, exhausted, and I close my eyes, but I'm always just sort of...
Yeah, you're at the surface of sleep, but you can't dive in.
Exactly. Like floating on the top of a pond, not awake, but not asleep. I've been floating on that pond for 4 weeks. I don't sleep.
Sweetie.
My hair is falling out and my nipples are cracked and bleeding, and I don't recognize myself, and I hear her voice all day.
Here? The baby?
In my head. Well, not here. Not a voice exactly. It's more like I have these thoughts in my head that aren't mine. Foreign thoughts. Telepathy. It's like she's sending these thoughts to me. Did you ever see that movie with the aliens?
What does she say?
You're mine.
Well, that's sweet.
No, it's not. It's not sweet. It's not be mine like on a candy heart. It's you are mine. Not the words, just the feeling. The hunger. The foreign thought coiled around me like a snake, squeezing.
Shh, honey, I'm here.
You're mine.
Shh, it's okay.
Mine.
Shh, honey, shh, you're fine.
Mine.
Go to sleep. It's all right.
Something's not right.
There you go. I know.
Hey there, little girl. Hi. Daddy's here. Daddy's got you.
Oh God, no! No! I was here! I'm here! I didn't leave! I didn't go! Please don't hurt him, please! I didn't leave! I'm here!
Jump off the roof. Jump off the roof. Jump off the roof. Jump off the roof.
That was Postpartum, written by Jillian Blevins. It was performed by Marian Thibodeau as the mother and Matt Hoffman as the husband. All right, so with us now is the writer of the story you just heard. She is an actress. She's a playwright. She's had works produced all around the country. She's also the creator and producer of Digital Dionysia, which is a 6-week online new works festival featuring plays from writers all around the world. And her full-length play, Romeo and Her Sister, is currently premiering at the new Hampshire Theatre Project. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jillian Blevins. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. I'm really excited to be here.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So you had a big night last night, apparently. Your full-length play, Romeo and Her Sister, just premiered. We're recording on June 8th. You just had your premiere last night, June 7th. So before we dive into anything else, tell us how it went.
Yeah, so it went really wonderful. I've been writing that play in some way, like researching and outlining and stuff since about 2018. And I've had 2 workshops, one in Orlando with Whiskey Theater Factory and one in Nebraska with Angels Theater Company. They were like staged readings, and I learned a lot from both of those. But this was the first fully produced version of this play with costumes and sets and sword fighting and
All out.
all of that good stuff. And it was actually my first full length at all to have a full production.
That's great.
So big moment for me as a playwright. Yeah.
Definitely.
Very awesome. So, I mean, there's probably a lot of people out there that are already familiar with you, but there are also some that aren't familiar with you. So I think you're a writer like many of us that started out as an actor and you kind of transitioned into playwriting. So tell us your journey into theater and how you started acting and how you eventually got to where you're here, premiering full-length plays that you've written and all that.
So, yeah, I did start out primarily as an actor, but I got into theater in the first place because I loved books. I loved to read and was kind of a compulsive reader as a child. And my mom saw in the paper one day that they were having auditions for a children's theater production of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was a book that I really loved at the time. I was probably 10, maybe 11, and I auditioned for that and had the hubris to try to do a British accent. And I got cast as Lucy Pevensey. And I worked with this children's theater troupe, which was actually run by a young guy himself. He was an 18-year-old guy who was doing his own adaptations and like fractured fairy tales. And it was very sort of like messy from the ground up theater. And I got a lot of my creative sensibilities from working with this youth troupe. And fun aside, I actually have reconnected with this person in adulthood. He runs a theater company called Landless in DC, and we're working on writing a musical together right now.
That's great. I always feel like the theater world is very small, and
so small.
I've worked with people in Colorado who worked with someone else in Montana, and it was like, wait, how do you know each other? It's so funny.
Yeah, no matter where you're working, you know people who know people from all over, which is wonderful and terrifying. But so I was really into acting, although I do remember when I was young, I had a lot of opinions, and the director was like, maybe you should think about directing. Which was his nice way of saying, like, don't give another actor notes, child.
Gotcha.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I did theater all growing up. I got my BFA from the University of Rhode Island, where I both acted and directed. And I took a playwriting class with Laura Shellhart, who's a wonderful playwright. And I always liked to be around new work. My internships when I was in college were both at New Play Theaters in Philadelphia, Interact and Theater Exile, and then I did a stint at Playpen as well. But I just always thought, like, I love new plays, I love dramaturgy, and I love to write. I write short stories and, live journaled like everybody else in the early 2000s. But I didn't think I was a playwright. And I mostly thought of myself as an actor and a sometimes director for a long, long time. And then in the pandemic, I put together Digital Dionysia, which was it was Greek theater and mythology inspired new plays from all over the world. We had, I want to say, like 27 different playwrights and probably over 100 actors. Yeah, we would do about 45 minutes of programming a night, and sometimes it would be one 45-minute play, and sometimes it would be like 3 10-minute plays. So it was, and we had all different directors, and it was very cool. And it was really just out of kind of desperation and like longing to be creative and connect with other people. And for that festival, I wrote 2 plays. I wrote Izzy at Zoom Therapy, which is a play written specifically for Zoom, inspired by Ismene from the Oedipus cycle, and was also just very much about sort of isolation and plague and survivor's guilt and things we were also all going through at the time. Mm-hmm. And I wrote Be the Bacchae, which was a live adaptation of Euripides the Bacchae that was also a drinking game.
Nice.
Oh, we need that at La Chat.
Oh, we do.
It's a theater bar, so it's perfect. There we go.
I will send it to you. I'm dying actually to have a live production of it because it was fun on Zoom, but I think it would be super fun in a bar.
That would be super cool.
But so when I wrote those plays, I was like, I think I actually have learned a lot about writing plays in the past, 20 years, because I've read so many of them and I've given so many dramaturgical notes. And I did teach high school briefly and at a charter school, and I taught a playwriting class, and I think I learned a lot from teaching that class.
Knowing how to communicate what you know to someone else is very enlightening, to acknowledge the rules, basically, that you find that you may know, but it's hard to put into words sometimes.
Totally. And, my whole life as an actor, I'd been told you're a little too in your head, you're a little bit of a perfectionist, and those skills are actually incredibly useful as a writer. Yeah. So I sort of started to realize that my greatest strengths as an artist were really in the writing side. And I had been sort of working on Romeo and Her Sister for a little while, and I decided to buckle down and finish it. And that was kind of the beginning of me taking myself seriously as a playwright. And it's only been a few years, probably from late 2021, to now is what I've been considering myself a playwright. And I've had way more success in that arena than I did acting for many, many years.
That's super cool.
Very cool. Well, if anyone wasn't already familiar with you, today they heard one of your audio plays, Postpartum.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that one. This is when I first read it, it's such a chilling story. And, postpartum is so relatable to so many mothers out there. And so just kind of give us kind of your backstory. And you're a mother yourself as well. So give us how this idea came in your head and the kind of your own spin that you put on it.
So I've been wanting to write a horror play for some time. I love the genre. I love horror movies. My favorite kind of novels to read are horror novels. And I just felt really stuck on a horror play. And my online theater collective or playwriting collective on Facebook called Playwrights Thriving, which I'm sure you've heard of from a few of your other featured playwrights. Every year they do a Halloween bake-off, like a Paula Vogel bake-off, where we all contribute ingredients, character, a setting, an object, an event, and we use those to inspire a play. And I love a prompt. I love like a constraint that makes me sort of have to do something I maybe otherwise wouldn't have done. And we do a Christmas one, which is like a Secret Santa title exchange, and we do a Halloween one. And I always try to write for the season or the holiday because holiday plays are great. Like people are always looking for those.
Yeah.
And the first year of the Bake Off, I kind of cheated. And it was really like a family drama that just had a ghost in it. It was scary.
Gotcha.
So this time I was like, I'm going to write a scary play. I'm going to write a horror play. And I think it was Chris Susi who said to me, just think of the things that scare you and write about that. And my fears are all really about like losing myself. Losing my identity, being disconnected. And all of that was very present after both my kids, but really after my first kid, because nothing rocks your world like becoming a parent. And some of the ingredients in the Paula Vogel bake-off thing were a rooftop, a newborn with golden eyes, a half-empty bottle, and what's the other one? I think trying to sleep was one of them. And I sort of saw all of those things in these columns, and a light bulb went off. And I realized, okay, I'm going to write a play about like the scariest time in my life if it were a horror movie.
Yeah.
And one of the big challenges for me that always kind of got me stuck when I was trying to write horror for the stage is, in a film, the camera kind of controls the audience's point of view. And that does a lot for scares, right? And for dread and all the feelings you want with horror. In a novel, it's all in your imagination. And in theater, it's kind of this in-between thing where it's like, it could look really hokey if you're trying to do effects, depending on the quality of the production. So I had this thought that I really wanted it all to be suggested, and the baby monitor was the perfect vehicle for that. Where you could hear what was going on and imagine it like you were listening to an audiobook or reading a novel, and watch the characters on stage reacting to it, or specifically the character of the mother.
That actually really lent really well to the audio version, is because you're not supposed to see the actual act anyway. So it's in your imagination, which can be quite terrifying.
Well, good. I hope so.
Yes.
I saw a college student, I think from Hamilton College, don't quote me on that, did this play for her directing class this spring. And it was really, really well done. And I think I may want to steal some of what she did as a director, which is the sounds were really physically almost like controlling the mother. Like her responses to the sounds were really physical, which was really exciting to watch on stage. So yeah, I hope that this play gets more life, but it was really cool to hear the audio version because I definitely thought of Gathered by the Ghostlight when I was writing this. And I was like, well, maybe they'll pick this one. It might be a good audio play.
Hey, check that
I'm
out.
glad you did.
Yeah.
And our actress, Marian Thibodeau, who played the mother, like when she first read it, she was just like, yeah, this is actually very relatable. She's got 2 kids herself. And she said, this is very relatable. Thank you for casting me in this. But yeah, she did such an amazing job with it. And
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's very relatable for really anyone who has children. I myself did not suffer postpartum, but I didn't know about postpartum so much until I, got pregnant, and then suddenly everyone tells you about it, and you're like, why is nobody talking about this like normally to help prepare women and to understand that the horror of postpartum, even without a scary monster, is pretty terrifying,
Yeah. Well, I think that the silence about it is part of what makes it so scary because you think there's something wrong with me. Like,
yeah.
This is supposed to be the happiest time. If I were a good mother or supposed to be a mother, I wouldn't be struggling.
Yeah.
I read a lot of attachment parenting books when I was pregnant, and that did a number on me because I felt like, first of all, they're really gendered and really sexist now in retrospect. And a lot of the messaging is like, in the newborn stage, it's on the mother specifically to anticipate the child's every need. And if you do that correctly, then your child will grow up properly attached, healthy, and happy. And if you mess it up, so
Too bad, your child's ruined forever. Yeah.
Kinda. And like the husband in the play, my husband was trying so hard to be, I mean, he's a great dad. Our kids are 5 and 13 now, and he's like super dad. He's downstairs right now giving him lunch. And he was always really involved. And I would not let him help me with our first kid because I thought, your job is work, my job is the kid. You shouldn't have to do something else. This is on me. And if I'm struggling, that's something to be ashamed about. I don't want you to see it, And he is the one who actually got me to go to a doctor and, address the postpartum depression. So he was able to save me in a way that the husband in this play isn't. But I also really wanted to write, a good guy as the husband.
Yeah. And it totally comes through. It definitely comes through.
It does. You could definitely tell that he does want to help genuinely, and he wants to be there. He even mentions cutting back his hours at work and all that, and wanted to be there for her. And yeah, you did a good job with that. I'm also curious. I love how you kind of left it open to a little bit of interpretation. Like, is there really a monster? Is it in her head? Especially with the ending. Because she hears what's happening on the monitor, but is she dreaming? Because we did just kind of see her fall asleep. So I really like the way you put that together. Now, when you wrote it, what was your intentions with that? Do you imagine it just all being in her head, or you just want people to kind of have their own impression of it?
Yeah, I definitely. I think the sneaky playwright answer is it's up to you.
Yeah.
But I wanting to write something that was true horror. I think the staging, it has to feel absolutely real. Somebody had approached me about turning it into a short film, and that ended up actually falling through because they weren't willing to pay me enough. And I was like, nah, that's all right. But like one of the things they talked about was we would want to make it clear at the end that it was all in her head. And I was like, oh no, that's like, you don't get this play. So,
you're like, I'm the writer. I know it.
Yeah. I always say, for no matter what kind of play I'm writing, if 2 audience members could sit next to each other and have a totally different opinion on either what happened or who was right, or like if they could argue about the play on the way home, I've done my job.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nothing's ever simple. Nothing's straightforward, just like life.
Now, as far as the production history of this play, you said it's been performed once, or has it? How many stage productions have you had of this one?
Just the one at a college, and she just found it on NPX and reached out to me, and I just said, great, go for it, send me pictures, and she sent me pictures and a great video, and I was very impressed. So I'm hoping that it gets some more productions. I've submitted it to some horror festivals and stuff. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
It sounds like you have work all over the country at the very least. So do you get to travel and see your work produced very much, or?
The answer to that is I would like to more.
Yeah.
It's, I never want this to be an expensive hobby. I want it to be a career.
Yeah.
Fair.
So I'm trying to be really thoughtful and careful about when I travel. Thankfully, the Romeo and Her Sister is about 30 minutes north of me. I live in Massachusetts. The production is in New Hampshire. So that's been really great. I'm going to New York this summer for the She NYC Festival, which will be at the Connolly. My play Mere Waters is going to be directed by Rosie Core, who just finished working as assistant director on Harmony, which is really cool. So I'll be going to see that. And it's not announced yet, but I've got one more festival that's happening after Mere Waters in New York. So I'll be there for about 3 weeks, seeing 2 of my plays, which is really cool.
So I kind of want to revisit Romeo and Her Sister. We just you just brought that up a second ago, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. I love this story so much. You took this historical figure, you gave this dynamic relationship with her and her sister Susan, and the villain in it, Edwin Forrest. Was it Edwin Forrest? Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he's such a great villain, just full of toxic masculinity. And I love the way that you put all that together. And Charlotte with her affairs and all the twists and turns. And like I said, you got your premiere going on, and it's going on through June 23rd, I think. Is that?
That's right. Yep. The 23rd.
Yeah. So this story, I know you said you've been working on it a while, but what made you want to write about this historical? Did you know about Charlotte Cushman before you started writing, or was it just you were doing some research and you're like, hey, I kind of want to focus on her a little bit?
Again, I wasn't a writer when I started this play. I was an actor, and I was like, I'm going to write this play sort of as an experiment. And the reason I started it is that I heard Lisa Merrill, who wrote the nonfiction book When Romeo Was a Woman. I heard her on the Folger Shakespeare podcast. So it all comes back to podcasts.
There you go.
And she was sort of just talking about Charlotte and about her book. And I could not believe, as a Shakespeare nerd who lived in Boston where Charlotte lived and did theater in Philly where Charlotte was part of the Walnut Street Theater, that I didn't know about her. And I was like, why don't I know about this person? And I started researching her just to learn more. And the question of why don't I know was sort of a driving force of writing the play. And I've really honed in since then that when I have that insatiable curiosity about something, that's a really good sign that I should write a play about it. So I try to follow that. So yeah, I read When Romeo Was a Woman. I read Across an Untried Sea, which is specifically about pairs of famous sisters, and the Charlotte chapter is focused on her and Susan. And those 2 books in particular really helped me focus in on what the play was. And there are some plays about Charlotte Cushman, especially now. She's blown up a little bit since that book came out, which is great. But one of the biggest ones was Charlotte Cushman's final performance when she was older. But I couldn't find any plays that focused on her relationship with Susan, which I think is so interesting because they played Romeo and Juliet together famously. There's an image of Romeo and Juliet that you think of that a lot of people have seen, and that is the 2 of them. That's Charlotte and Susan Cushman.
Oh, look at that.
And I picked characters and events mostly from those books, and it really clearly sort of pieced itself together for me. I sort of just wrote down everything I found interesting, and then sort of stepped back and looked at it from a distance and kind of saw the story I was going to tell, which is about sort of rumors and betrayal and sisterhood and female friendship.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Do you have sisters by chance? Did that inform your playwriting?
I don't. I have 3 younger brothers, and I've written multiple plays about sisters in the past few years. I think part of that is sort of a longing for sisters. You know, I've got 3 younger brothers. I've got 2 sons. I do not have.
You need some femininity.
There's not a lot of estrogen in my house.
Gotcha.
But also, really, like my female friends, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, have been like life raft for me. And Romeo and Her Sister in particular is really like a love letter to my female friends who have been like my sisters. Sorry.
No, that's wonderful.
No. About it.
That's great.
And yeah, so I think like I have one best friend who I've known since I was a teenager. We've been friends for a long time, since we were like 13, 14 years old. And she also has just a brother, and I always think of her like my sister. And although we don't fight the way the sisters in the play fight, I had to kind of create a little bit of that. But yeah, no sisters, but just like a real strong appreciation for the presence of a loving female figure in your life.
And from what I understand, you've actually been at quite a few of these rehearsals, right? So have you been able to kind of use it as a workshop as well? Since this is the premiere, are you finding things that are working better, things that might not be working as well as you thought, that you're kind of revising as you go along?
So sort of. I've actually only attended a couple of rehearsals of this, in part because I kind of wanted to see what a director, a good director, which my director, Courtney St. Gelais, very much is, would do with the script as it was. And we communicated, but I didn't really want to control the process. When I workshopped the play in Orlando, I had a tremendous dramaturg who's also a playwright, Monica Cross, and she really helped me tease out the play and add some stuff. She helped me kind of feel confident enough to put more verse in the play, to add the sword fight, which I think is an indispensable part of the play now. And then in Nebraska, I got a lot of information about when scenes felt too long and what weight needed to be removed from the play. So in this iteration, I sort of took some notes at the read through and like gave some notes back to them about like, oh, this sounded weird to my ear, change this, drop that. And then I did get some questions from my director, particularly about like a reconciliation scene between the sisters towards the end. And I just made that sort of tighter and cleaner because it's in between a lot of high drama, and it's this very quiet moment that's like central to the play, but was also kind of stopping it. So there's been like little things, but for the most part, I've been sort of letting the director and the actors tell me what's working, as opposed to like deciding myself. And I think sitting in the audience also tells me a lot. Like last night when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I could still take a little language away. I could still, there's like 3 adjectives here. I probably only need 1. Or there's 2 clauses in this sentence. It probably just needs 1.
Yeah.
And, because the play is inspired, it takes place in the Victorian period, and it's a little bit inspired by Shakespeare and a little bit inspired by like Oscar Wilde and other theater of that period. So because of that, people talk a lot and there's a lot of language. And that's super fun for me, but I also am hearing like when it's cumbersome for the actor and when it works. And so I'm definitely going to take another pass after seeing the show again, hopefully, and kind of clean up the script a little bit more and get it to be like the tightest, meanest version of this play.
With you being an avid reader, as you said, I'm sure it is definitely a different process reading something than it is performing something or watching something being performed. So I always find that having multiple perspectives and hearing someone else say the words can definitely help get new perspective and clean things up. Yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talk to myself when I'm writing all the time because
Nice.
I want to make sure that it's possible to stay alive.
I think a lot of us writers do that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
As far as the New Hampshire Theatre Project goes,
Yeah.
How did you get connected? Did they find your full-length play? Did you submit it? Did you already have the connection there? Or how did it work with getting that in their hands and them
So
discovering it?
I was really furiously trying to get this play produced. I submitted it a bunch of places. I submitted it to all the big contests, and I'm sometimes a semifinalist. But it's kind of an old-fashioned play, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, by design. And so it wasn't getting a lot of heat. And months after I had submitted this play to New Hampshire Theatre Project, which I think I just, it was one of like a dozen cold submissions I did on a certain day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I heard back and they said, hey, this script went to our spam folder months ago. We're so sorry. We just read it. Are you still trying to get this produced?
Oh, man.
And they were like, okay, we're gonna read it and we'll get back to you. And another couple months went by and I was like, okay, well, I still didn't hear. And then I was at this was about 1 year ago, I was at the Valdez Theater Conference in Alaska, and I was sitting down to another playwright's reading, and I checked my email and I saw, congratulations, we selected your play for our season.
Woo.
And I gasped. I started immediately weeping. And all these playwrights, some of whom I'd not even spoken to yet, were like, what's going on? What's going on? And I told them, like, this is my first full-length play. I'm gonna go full production. And they all like hugged me and surrounded me. And it was this very like beautiful moment of support from other artists. So I will never forget that. It was really, really cool. But all the responses that Romeo and Her Sister have gotten have been from cold submissions, just sending the play straight to a theater.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So you got Mere Waters. That's what you're going right into after Romeo and Her Sister ends. And you currently have a fundraiser for that that's going on at She NYC. So tell us more about that play. And that goes up, I believe, August 4th and 5th in their festival.
That's right.
So plug that.
Oh, I would love to plug that. So
Do it.
This is another play that was inspired by a real person from history, very different tonally from Romeo and Her Sister, but also very important. It's about Gisela Perl, who was interned at Auschwitz. She was a doctor in OBGYN, and she was serving as a doctor for her fellow inmates. And she realized what was going on in the hospital, specifically under Joseph Mengele, who's a sort of notorious Nazi sadist doctor and who was performing experiments on women, particularly pregnant women. And the infants would die, the women would die. And when she realized what was going on, she basically committed to save as many women as she possibly could by performing secret abortions with nothing, with no tools, no antiseptic, no water. So very intense subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
I was really careful when I wrote the play to focus on hope. So I have two biblical prophetesses who are also like your Long Island Jewish tantas, sort of like guiding her and protecting her through the whole thing. And I just kept it really narrow. The entire thing takes place in this hospital room because there's no way, like kind of like with the horror play, if you show it, it sort of takes away its power.
Yeah,
so I tried to really sort of like focus on this specific sliver, which is about pregnant women in Auschwitz. And it's 5 actresses. And I'm really, really excited about it. We just got our cast. We're going to be announcing them next week on the Mere Waters Instagram, Mere Waters NYC.
Cool.
And there you can also find a link to tickets, which are on sale now, and to our fundraiser, which I would love anybody listening who supports the women's right to choose, who supports women playwrights, who supports Jewish plays, who supports feminist plays. Please donate. This will help us pay our actors, pay our very talented director, help us with space rental. You know, there's a lot of great stuff that the festival provides in terms of the actual production. The theater space, obviously, which is huge, and all the tech support and all the marketing, but a big chunk of the fundraising has to come from us. So any support we can get on that would be great.
That's right. Any support. Get out there, donate to this wonderful play written by Jillian Blevins. And if you happen to be in New York, August 4th, 5th, go see the play.
Please.
Yeah, and that'll be at Connolly Theater. Is that the right one?
The Connolly Theater, yep. So it's an off-Broadway theater. I promise everybody has said when they've read this play, I was scared to start it. And by the end, I was so happy I read it. And the overwhelming feeling that you're left with is hope.
That's great.
And really, like Romeo and Her Sister, it is about women helping one another and supporting one another. That's sort of a recurring theme in my work.
I also feel from the little I know of your work, I've did some research before, but I love how you blend kind of fantastical elements with your factual history into your plays, like how you say you added those two characters to encourage your main character in Mere Waters, and you kind of took cultural situations and put it into Shakespeare times and things like that. So I really appreciate that blending of reality.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you noticing that. It's always hard for me to tell people, like, what's your artist statement? What kind of plays do you write? Because I think that all my plays are really different from each other, because I try to write like, well, what does this play need? What does this story need structurally? What does it need narratively? What is how can those two things support each other? And that often ends up really like creating drastically different tones and styles. But I think that you're right, that one thing that comes up a lot is that history and literature are consistently inspiring to me. And I like to sort of twist them or reimagine them. And that can sometimes come with like a theatrical or a magical realist element.
Yeah, I like it.
Now, coming from someone who also does digital productions, audio plays, your Digital Dionysia, when you did that, what was first off, would you ever consider doing a New Works Festival online like that again? And what was your process for putting all that together and, having your schedule, getting everything recorded, just getting everything down?
So I had a theater company at the time, which is no longer around, RIP, but we had a great sort of stage manager, managing director hybrid who was doing a lot of the scheduling and the technical stuff. So it definitely wasn't me alone. It was like my brainchild, and I kind of did the play selection. I was really overwhelmed by submissions. I did not know at the time that a certain listserv that I'm now on existed. And it got on there, and I got a ton of submissions. And I was able, and a lot of those folks are playwrights who now I know, and I know their work, but that was my first introduction to many of them, which was really cool. It was sort of like the logistical piece was a lot. And I don't think I'd be able to handle that on my own. I think having like the support of a managerial type was really wonderful. Part of being in playwriting that's wonderful for me is that I get to focus kind of just on the creative side and way less on the but how side.
Somebody else figured that out. That's the director's job, producer.
Yeah, because that was another thing is when I was acting, once I sort of aged out of playing ingenues, it became really hard to be cast. And if I wanted to act, I had to produce my own work. And that gets really exhausting. So I think as a writer, I can write whatever I want and put it out there into the world and sort of trust this is going to find the right people. And that's been pretty consistently coming true. And it's also, when you're a parent, way easier to be a playwright than to be an actor or a director or a producer. So personally, I don't know if I would do another new play festival. Maybe if I was I would love to curate one. I would love to be part of a selection committee, because I love to read new plays. That's always been one of my great joys before I even knew I was a playwright. But I don't know if I would do a Digital Dionysia again. I think it was a really cool thing to have done and really necessary at that time when we weren't able to be in person. But I love me some live theater.
Yep, fair enough.
So before we let you go, do you have anything else coming up that you want to share with the world? Anything to plug? Anything that you're not allowed to talk about yet that you want to tell us?
Sure. Another small theater in Massachusetts is doing my short play, another sort of Shakespeare-inspired play called The Prince's Shadow, in their Love is Love Festival. This is Theater at First in Somerville. That's going to be in August, and I think the second and third week of August. I have another announcement that will be coming up, I think on June 18th. And that's for another play that's going to be in New York. I can't talk about it yet, but if you're interested, pop over to my Instagram. I'm Singing Cynic on Instagram, cool. And I'll be posting about that. And that is it for now. But there's some other stuff on the horizon I can't quite talk about yet. But if you're interested in my work, just follow me on Instagram, and hopefully I'll have like a real artist playwright website someday soon.
Okay, so as far as where people can find you, Instagram is the best place?
Yeah, right now Instagram is the best place. I'm also on Facebook, but Instagram is sort of like where all of my playwriting announcements go. I have a link tree that like has everything that I have coming up, and it's a great way to get in touch with me directly. I'm also on New Play Exchange. If you want to read my plays, pretty much everything is up there. If you don't have a subscription, it's so well worth it, whether you're a playwright or just a lover of new plays. It's like between $10 and $18 annually.
A year? Yeah, it's like it's basically about $1 a month is the best deal of any subscription you can get.
Yeah, I mean, they have James Iams on there and Lauren Gunderson, and then they have, folks like you and me. So it's really runs the whole gamut, and it's a great way to just know what kind of plays are being written right now.
All right. So everyone listening, through June 23rd, if you're in New Hampshire, go see Romeo and Her Sister. And also Mere Waters, August 4th and 5th, coming up in New York at the Connolly Theater. Jillian Blevins, thank you so much for joining us and for letting us produce your audio play, Postpartum. Keep creating, keep doing all that cool stuff you do, and I can't wait to see one of your works on stage.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you all for listening, and if you are associated with a theater and you would like to produce the play you heard today on your stage, send an email to gatherbytheghostlight@gmail.com, or you can contact the playwright directly by visiting her page on the New Play Exchange. And if you'd like to continue to help us grow and you want more video content, please subscribe to the Gather by the Ghostlight channel on YouTube. And if you'd like to have some cool Gather by the Ghostlight merchandise, t-shirts are available at the merchandise link in the show notes. You can also find the Gather by the Ghostlight annual companion books available at Amazon. Intro and outro music, as always, is provided by artist JK47. And if you enjoy this podcast, maybe you're a longtime listener, or maybe this is the first episode you've ever heard, let us know. Please leave us a rating or a review in all the places that you can. That kind of activity, it really does help us get discovered by more listeners like you. And also be sure to follow Gather by the Ghostlight on social media to stay up to date on all the new episodes. I'm Jonathan Cook, and as always, stay safe, and I'll see you next time we Gather by the Ghostlight.